Hey guys, welcome to my video. I'm not going to give a long introduction here. It's going to be pretty short. Right now, what you see me is handling a big old batch of homegrown, hand-picked, carefully dried out mullein. Now, if you don't know anything about mullein, sorry. Hey, hold on. Let me introduce myself. My name is Brittany. I am the owner of the Zen Garden Club. I am a Louisiana master gardener, herbalist, medicine woman, modern day shaman, Reiki master, energetic healer, energy medicine, all of the things. I don't want to go into all of that. I like to call myself a vessel, right? But today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be focusing on making Mullein tinctures. Now, one thing I love to do is I love to give you the education as I'm giving you the experience. So one thing you want to know about mullein is it's called the respiratory sweetheart, right? It was once called lady's foxglove, right? It's a big plant that has these large oblong leaves, as you can see, and they have like these woolly hairs. You can see it right here. Do you see these woolly hairs as I'm breaking it down? And this is a sweet-natured calming herb, and this is basically great for respiratory cleanses. This is great for cleansing the lungs, getting rid of mucus. It's a great source of vitamins, including flavonoids. It has saponins, which is great for cleansing the body. Its flowers are antibacterial. It's food for the glands, including the testicles and the ovaries. This has anti-inflammatory properties to reduce glandular swellings. And of course, it's a marvelous tea to use for respiratory weakness, including chronic coughs, congestion, colds, lung weakness, breathing difficulties, asthma, and bronchitis. One of the things people don't even realize is you can literally take one of these mullein leaves and roll them up and you can smoke them, and like it will reduce a lot of phlegm. Okay, you can also take dried mullein and put them with your smoke blends because it'll also help reduce the amount of mucus that is in you. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're using Everclear, and I like to use 90% alcohol or 95% alcohol because that is the highest grade. And we're making an alcohol-based tincture, okay? If I was going to make a glycerite tincture, then I would be using vegetable glycerin. But today I'm using a high quality Everclear 95% alcohol to make our tincture. And what I'm doing now is I am just basically crushing up the mullein, because what that does is that helps release a lot of its properties when you crush up the actual herb. And I'm stuffing it, but I'm not stuffing it too much because you still want air to get in at the bottom of the plant. But you want to, at the bottom of the glass, but you want to stuff it because you don't want to leave too much air, and then you got like a low quality solution after you have let this sit for, I don't know about y'all, but I let my stuff sit for 3 months because that is when you get the maximum potency for optimal health. So let's go ahead and get our bottle of Everclear. And what I did was, y'all can see that this glass of mullein is filled up to the top. Now, one thing that you want to do with your Everclear is you want to make sure, again, 95% alcohol, okay? That's that real deal Holyfield. What I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly pour this in here. And I wish that you guys could actually see it getting poured in. Is it going to allow me to do it? Okay. Well, what's happening here right now is you want to make sure that you fill this up all the way to the top, like all the way to the top, because one thing that it's going to do is going to bubble. And when it starts bubbling, it's basically allowing the herbs inside to separate so that the solution, which is alcohol, vegetable glycerin, whatever, it allows that to get into the actual herbs. Now, another thing, what you can do is you can take an object like a fork or a wooden spoon, and you can basically just go in and give it a little churn, a little turn to make sure that the alcohol, you see how I'm doing that? The alcohol is going into the herbs. Do you see that? Do you see how that fork is pressing down? And okay, make it a little messy. That's why we got gloves. That's why we got a little clean pain area, but you want to make sure that you're pressing your herbs down. That way your alcohol can go all the way on top. And you want to make sure that you feel it's up to the top. And you even want it to spill over, right? You want it to spill over. You want to make sure that we don't have any air in there, because if you got air, then that can have mold and bacteria to get in. And that is what we do not want, baby. After putting all this work in, we don't want that. Look at that, look at that. Okay, so now what you want to do is you want to take you some parchment paper. And the reason why I take parchment paper is because it creates a protective barrier between the alcohol and the actual top, which, you don't want it to rust because it's going to get wet. And what I do is I like to label mine, because if I do not label, I will forget. So if you're like me and you're a little spicy, it means you got a lot going on, and we just need to label, right? So this here is going to be ready for you guys to purchase I'm going to do 2 ounce and 4 ounce bottles. This here is going to be ready for you to purchase on April the 3rd. Today is January the 3rd, 2026. And what I do is I let my tinctures sit for 3 months, right? And what I do is I put them in a dark dry space, and as you can see, I'm putting mullein on there, and I basically turn them every day, every other day, and that helps to allow the flow, that helps to allow the everything to just oxidize and get together. And I don't want to say too many scientific words because I don't need nobody flagging me on YouTube. And another last thing that I do, I go to my calendar right here, and today is January the 3rd. I'm making medicine. You can see it on the 3rd and the 1st for sure. I'm going to go to April, and I'm going to write what medicine that I made today. Y'all, excuse me, because I am not going back and edit this because I am so trying to get out of this perfectionist stuff. So whatever you get, okay? But no, I'm really trying to get out of perfectionist stuff. So I feel like, hey, what you do the first time, that's great enough. It ain't no good enough. That's great enough right there. Stop doing all those edits. You're not a freaking robot. So right here, I'm going to April the 3rd, and I'm writing that my medicine, which is my Mullein Tinctures, are going to be ready. And then I'm also, remember, I wrote that on the actual package. So I'm going to put these on my website. My website is www.thezengarden.club. And I am making, right now, what I'm doing is I'm creating a subscription-based box for monthly medicine. And I'm also creating a pre-order form so that you guys can pre-order these. That way, hey, first come, first serve, baby. That's how it is when you make a natural medicine. This is not over the counter. This don't happen overnight. But I do want to make sure that those of you, there you go, mullein right there, and I put 1-1, but it's actually 1-3.